Alright, so we just watched Wizard of Gore.
Yes, for the first time.
Yeah, we've seen a few Herschel Gordon Lewis movies, but neither of us have seen Wizard of Gore.
Right, yeah. And kind of what I thought it was going to be, but I'm still confused by the story on it though. Because the wizard would go out and get bodies and then bring them in to kill them.
Yeah.
And then they would die somewhere else. And the one that confused me the most was the woman he got out of the morgue, but then showed up at her husband's apartment dead.
Well, no, I feel like so the wizard would do the trick. He would hypnotize the people.
Yeah.
He would whatever he was going to do. He'd saw them in half.
Yeah.
Make them swallow swords, whatever.
Right.
They would be hypnotized. A little bit later, they would go somewhere, and then, but on stage, it was like they were fine. But then they would go somewhere, and it was like they had all the wounds back, right?
Right, yeah.
Then either one person was buried, and then everybody else was in the morgue. He would then go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're at Central.
That's where we're at.
Loud pipes save lives. That's what I hear.
Yes.
We're at Central Cinema in Knoxville. Anyway, that person just ran that red light.
Gave no fucks.
Did not give a fuck.
Yep.
No, he would go back then, and after the people were either buried or in the morgue, he would just retrieve the bodies and then take them and then dump them in this one spot. And they never even mentioned that until the very end. The woman was like, and then the bodies disappeared.
Yeah.
They never mentioned it. I really loved the character of the wizard.
Oh yeah, the wizard was cool. Especially when it did the close-ups and you saw the white on his eyebrows. He just looked coked out of his mind.
He was just he was like, the cheesy magician, but at the same time he had that sort of, there was a sinister, I'm smoking weed too.
Yeah. This is what happens here.
He had that sort of, there was a sinister aspect to him. Like you actually you believed it a little bit. He was kind of goofy, but at the same time he was.
Did he do anything wrong by murdering already dead people?
I don't think he was murdering.
I think he murdered them.
Oh, he murdered them and then picked them back up.
I think he
killed them.
Yeah, he murdered them he murdered them on stage.
Yeah.
And then somehow he made them appear to not be murdered, like it showed up later.
Okay.
It's like it was a delayed effect.
Yeah.
And then he retrieved the bodies later. They didn't say why ever, but he just retrieved the bodies later. Obviously, it's a lot of it didn't make sense, but I swear I could watch his magician act. I could watch those all night if he would just have a new one.
I thought that was what the whole movie was going to be, was just him doing these acts like nonstop, not the story behind it.
At the beginning it feels that way because there's a very long introduction where he decapitates himself, which is awesome.
Yeah, and picks his basket up with his head.
Yeah, and then he has this long speech about, which kind of ties into the end, about him talking about, are you waking up from a dream, or are you still in a dream? Is this reality, or is it not?
Yeah, I don't think we should spoil the ending.
Okay, sure.
I mean, that doesn't really spoil anything at all. But
no, I mean, it just ties in. He ties that back in, that whole idea of dream or reality. I got to say, the ending was great because I was at first I was like, no, come on.
So the boyfriend was a sports journalist, and then he just became a criminal journalist or whatever they're called. I don't know what they would be called. All of a sudden, that was a weird change of jobs in the middle.
He was just very into it, and even at one point the cops were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
They're like, why do we keep doing what you want?
Right.
They were like,
stop playing detective here, guys.
But the ending has a great twist, and I think Patrick's right. We shouldn't spoil it, but it definitely makes you think like, oh, okay, I was disappointed. I yelled in the theater. I was like, come on.
Yeah, you will get disappointed.
I was angry, and then it flips
excited.
Yeah, and then it flips it at the end. So that was pretty cool, and it leans into that magician aspect. So I thought this was better than Blood Feast. And I actually say better than 2000 Maniacs.
Oh,
as,
definitely.
As far as the
There's
gore,
more gore for sure.
The gore is heavy, especially like when he has this one trick he does where the mechanical press comes down into the girl's stomach, and then he's just
digging.
He's digging through her guts.
Digging, yeah.
And then there was the other one where he drove the spike to the head, and he's like plucking the eye. He's like squeezing the eyeballs out. That was pretty disgusting.
Yes.
I would say out of the 4 or 5 movies of his I've seen, this was one of the better ones. It's still not up to Gore Girls.
No.
I still think Gore Girls is the best of his I've seen, but I would put it up there, I think, with Gruesome Twosome.
Yeah.
So I would give this I would give it 4. I give it a 4 buckets of popcorn. I think so.
I would have to agree with you on that. Definitely 4 buckets of popcorn. What do you think of it, Lindsay?
So Lindsay, you've never seen a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie ever?
I have not, no.
Give us your quick.
What do you think?
What did you think?
Well, I agree that it was pretty good. It was funny. The part where he rubbed on the eye was probably the most disturbing.
Just digging it. Yeah,
I loved
to see that often.
Yeah, I loved how he was just pulling her brains out of the wound he had made in her head. The part that had me confused, though, I assumed he was hypnotizing the audience, but I was like, how is he getting these corpses to actually walk out and drive cars, or to walk into their home and then just die 30 minutes later? So, because there wasn't anyone around to be witnessing this, to be hypnotized to see it. So that part threw me a little bit. And then the blood on their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that didn't seem related in any way at all. It was just like they were marked.
Blood on her hands.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, all of a sudden he sees the blood on her hand and he's like, oh, you're interesting now. But it doesn't really ever explain why.
Yeah.
So
I did like when the cops came in to the magic show. They're like, hey, those are the volunteers.
it's just super loudly talking right there in the
and then
front.
Sits down. What was the purpose of that? It's already made public. But yeah, definitely watch this however you can see it. I think you can probably only get these on DVD or Blu-ray. I don't think they're online.
Yeah, either you got to buy the DVD or see it at a great place like Central Cinema.
Definitely. Yep. It's been our mini review.
Yeah, we'll call that mini review, quick review.
Brian's
thanks,
not
guys.
Here. He had to work.
Brian had to work. He's already seen it.
Yeah.
He's already seen this movie.
So yeah.
We love it.
Yes, it's great.